Hello, and welcome to Studio 415.
On today's show, you'll hear if there's any truth to the rumor that NACS can watch you through the laptop webcam.
You'll be taken back to the origins of Charlie the Charger.
And you'll hear what Carroll High School has planned for its 50th anniversary, as well as how much money is needed to run the whole district.
Sunny days and friendly smiles, walk the halls with me. Studio 415. Watch the news unfold. Another dull moment. Students today create our future. Come and join the fun. Studio 415.
Welcome to Studio 415. I'm David Estrabian.
And I'm Will Wiggy. When NACS went one-to-one in 2016, a new trend formed amongst the students, covering the laptop camera.
Studio 415 reporter Leah Wells spoke with the technology department to uncover the truth. She joins us now with more.
Carroll High School students have placed stickers, tape, and other items over the camera of their NACS laptop because of a rumor that the school could access it to watch them. Is this true? My investigation found the answer. It's not uncommon to see students using their laptops with the camera covered, and for many, it comes from the fear of being watched. Some people think that NACS can access the cameras without the student knowing. However, Director of Technology Adela Dickey said otherwise.
We don't turn the camera on without the student knowing. I believe there's a light on the camera too that would show up, but then most of the programs will prompt the student first to ask if it's okay.
The concern is not only about NACS, but also a third party being able to access and use the cameras. The school district has taken this into account and has implemented Lightspeed to block sites with dangerous malware, which may put your computer at risk. If a malicious program does take control of a laptop, the technology department will know.
We have endpoint protection running, so that watches the computer for rogue software, for the malware, so that program ought to be throwing up a message to the student, and then also it tells us too.
With the various risks present, students may question why we have laptops with cameras, and the reason is that many teachers requested them for video-related projects. The camera can be helpful for school presentations, however, the fear of a security breach is not entirely unfounded.
I one time actually had my screen say, your camera is being used by another source on my home screen.
It is nearly impossible to avoid all security threats, but at NACS, responsible management of equipment can minimize the risk. For Studio 415, I'm Leah Wells.
From the roar of a crowd at a home football game to an intense moment as the clock ticks down at a basketball game, there's one man that keeps the crowd on their feet.
That man is Charlie the Charger. But where did Charlie come from? Studio 415 reporter Seth Pendergrass brings us the history behind the suit.
Before Charlie was invented, Carroll High School's mascot was a horse. Once they chose to retire the Charger horse, the school went without a mascot. That's when Christopher Rice, a freshman at the time, stepped up to the plate to start the process of creating Charlie.
I went to Mr. Ginder my freshman year of high school and brought up the idea to him about possibly having a mascot, and thought that it was something that we definitely needed.
But Christopher couldn't do it alone. Assistant principal at the time, Park Ginder, took on the challenge of helping to create the mascot.
And so it was a beginning that happened because the student had interest.
But what would a Charger look like? After 3 months of collaboration and using fundraisers to raise about $3,500 to $4,500 to fund the costume itself, they sent in sketches of their idea for a mascot. Working with a company located in Canada, they took the sketches of Charlie, edited them some, and sent them back. It took a few months for them to come to an agreement on what Charlie should look like. The look and style of Charlie was difficult to fully develop, but the team of students and administration eventually created the superhero-like character we have today.
We created Charlie the Charger really to be more of like a superhuman type of a character, almost like Buzz Lightyear, but just superhuman. We wanted him to, he's a charger, just charging forward.
Well, we wanted to cartoonify a charger, but we didn't know what a charger looked like.
At a pep rally, Charlie was revealed to the whole school for the first time, and that is when Charlie was born.
We did like a whole big dance number with all the cheerleaders, and then had Charlie, he was completely covered up, and kind of the cheerleaders all came to the center of the floor and covered him up, and then when they came out, boom, Charlie the Charger was revealed.
Since then, Chris has become a mascot for many different teams and organizations, including the Mad Ants and Comets. Christopher is proud that Charlie the Charger was something that he could be a part of.
Kind of left, my mark there at Carroll High School.
For anyone who wants to see about becoming Charlie the Charger, be sure to see Dan Ginder in the athletic office. From Studio 415, I'm Seth Pendergrass. Oh, hey, Charlie, what's up?
$1 million, $5 million, $10 million. Have you ever wondered how much money it takes NACS to operate 10 schools and other buildings like the natatorium, central office, and transportation department?
Studio 415 reporter Lydia Batters sat down with Superintendent Chris Himsel to go over the 2016 NACS budget.
The numbers are in, which means the 2016 NACS budget has been released. The budget is made up of 7 different funds, the general fund being the largest. This fund pays for teachers or anyone that works for the school district and their benefits. This fund is the most important because it directly affects the students in their learning. Superintendent Chris Himsel says that the budget is driven by student decisions and interest. Whenever a decision is made, the student's education is always the first thing considered. Himsel believes that the priority has always been student learning and activities.
A great big chunk of it is used for teachers and instructional assistants who work directly with students. That is by far and away the biggest chunk of everything that we do, goes to support that function.
By having multiple funds, NACS is able to ensure that each aspect of the district is funded and taken care of. Besides the general fund, NACS has a budget for buildings, transportation, debt, and many other things. These funds provide the amount of money that is needed but is still regulated by the Indiana state government. Having separate funds helps guarantee that each area of the district has money set aside specifically for it.
And so there's already competition within the funds to make sure that you prioritize what is most important. If you break down those barriers of those funds and you make all of it on the same level of competing, then what you're doing is you're making some very difficult decisions against things that you can't do without.
NACS gets most of its money through property taxes. These taxes come from all home and business owners within the district. However, there is not enough through taxes to fund all of NACS. We receive grants from the government for things such as the lunch program and special education department. The NACS budget consists of $65.3 million, and yet is still one of the lowest funded school districts in Indiana. Some Carroll High School students believe that this is enough, while others think otherwise.
It seems like a pretty high number, but especially for like how big the schools are and how many students, it seems kind of on point.
I think that we, being like one of the lowest funded schools, I think we do pretty well. Maybe we should have more because we're such a high performing school for academics and sports.
NACS does not receive as much money due to low amounts of poverty, English language learners, and special education students. However, Himsel believes that the gap between our funding and other school districts' funding is too large.
We would like for state legislatures to not fund vouchers and other choice mechanisms, but to remember and pay attention to funding those public schools which families choose to move to and have their kids attend.
The low amount of funding that NACS gets has forced the district to live within its means and to make hard choices. Within the next few years, NACS is hoping that they will have the money in the budget to build a new football field and elementary school. For Studio 415, I'm Lydia Batters.
50 years have passed, but the marks left by past students will live on in Carroll history.
Studio 415 reporter Tess Plazik takes us back in time to show us some of our school's history in preparation for the 50th anniversary.
Starting next school year, Carroll High School will go through 3 years of 50th anniversaries. In the year 1968, the final classes of Arcola High School and Huntertown High School graduated. In 1969, the first class of Carroll High School graduated while attending school at Huntertown. And in 1970, the first class of Carroll High School graduated from its current building. Athletic Director Dan Ginder is in charge of planning upcoming celebrations, including class reunions and recognition at sporting events.
We'll obviously like to incorporate, current Carroll High School and look at some of the changes that have taken place over the course of 50 years.
The school was originally a fraction of the size it is today, but due to multiple additions such as the front offices, the large auditorium, and the field house, it has completely transformed. The most notable addition, however, was the freshman center.
At one time, the freshman building was Carroll Junior High. And then they made it Carroll Middle School, which took 7th, 8th, and 9th, which took the freshmen out of this building. The big building was basically 10, 11, and 12. But now, or later on, they brought the freshmen back over, which in reality made this building a lot louder.
Believe it or not, these halls used to be fields, but now they're a place to hang out with your friends and a route to class. The building isn't the only thing that has grown, though. The student body has gained hundreds throughout the years. The graduating class of 1970 consisted of 165 students. The class of 2017, nearly 50 years later, consists of 505 students. This is due to the construction of multiple housing additions over the years, bringing new families and students to the NACS district. From the marks on the bricks caused by payphone wires to the names engraved in the brick wall, Carroll's history continues to live on. In preparation for the anniversary celebrations, Ginder asks anyone from the graduating classes of 68, 69, and 70 to get involved with the events. For Studio 415, I'm Tess Plazik.
Students at Carroll are often kept awake late at night from the workload given by teachers.
So what happens when those students also have to balance the stresses of a job and extracurricular activities? Studio 415 reporter Johnny Becker joins us in the studio with his story.
The bell to end the school day rings 40 minutes later than it did last year. Students that we spoke to tell us that the later start and end times for CHS are one of the factors that's making it more difficult to balance school life and after-school life. School, jobs, and extracurricular activities are all things that can add a lot of stress to students. All students have to deal with at least one of these. But there are many here at Carroll that have to juggle all three. A common issue for upperclassmen is trying to schedule their work hours. A whole day in class and then quickly rushing off to practice for a sport or performing art doesn't leave much time in the day for a job.
Because I have a lot of homework and I'm in marching band, it's kind of hard to get a good working hours. You know, you have less hours when you're doing stuff after school, so it's kind of hard to balance everything out.
The time after school activities, including sports, takes up during the week leaves no time to spare. Even working a job during the week can seem like an impossible task.
During the football season, I would typically just work weekends, not work weekdays at all. That would just put too much on me.
A problem that students face are the late hours they have to stay up at night in order to finish their homework after a long day of both work and school.
Well, on days when I have a lot of homework, it's kind of hard to get back from work and then do homework after a long day. So in general, it's hard to work with homework.
Getting to work after school can be a daunting task. Often, students are finding themselves rushing out of school in order to make it on time.
It definitely makes me go a lot faster. I used to go through the side door to get out to the parking lot a lot faster, but then they started blocking me off, so I couldn't go that way anymore. So now I just have to kind of run to my car. I go about 120 down Lima Road, down to my ice car wash to get there on time, so yeah.
Carroll has helped many of these kids through the ICE program, which allows students to leave school early to get to work. This program is offered only to seniors and helps them manage their time. From Studio 415, I'm Johnny Becker.
Studio 415 would like to congratulate the following Chargers on their recent success.
This past weekend, the Electric Blue dance team earned several awards for team and individual performances. EBDT earned state runner-up in hip-hop, and senior Carrie Nolte was named solo state champion.
Junior Emily Mertz was named solo state runner-up, and the team of Carrie Nolte and Caitlin Olwine were named duet state champions.
Members of the band also earned big honors. Jazz One was named top honor band at the Northrop Jazz Festival, receiving awards for lead trumpet, sax solo, trombone solo, and drummer.
Our indoor percussion placed third in the WGI Indy prelims, advancing to the finals, and Carroll's Winter Guard placed first in the IHSCGA state prelims.
Our final congratulations goes to Carroll's Radio and TV2 class. Studio 415's Christmas show earned a third place finish in the Indiana Association of School Broadcasters state competition.
Caroline Chastain finished in the top 6 in the state for her TV news anchoring, and our very own David Azrabian earned first place in the state for his music video, Time in a Bottle.
That's all we have for today. Thanks for watching.
If you have any story ideas that you would like to see covered, mention them to any of the students in the credits or Mr. Johnston.
For all of us here at Studio 415, have a great week, Carroll.